What is up, guys? It's Lanky Duelist, and today I'm coming at you with a 50 subscriber special. So yes, not a lot of people really celebrate 50 subscribers or see it as much of a landmark, but to me, it's a landmark. The fact that there's 53 of you currently right now subscribed to my channel and watching my content, I can't say anything other than, thank you guys again for taking the time out of the day to watch my videos and even subscribe to my channel as a whole. And I thought, let's do a special. And looking at my previous videos and seeing what I say a lot in my previous videos, I do mention I love dragons quite a lot. And I thought, why not come at you guys with a top 10 list of my favorite dragons throughout the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh itself. So let's crack on with it. And plus, as you all should know, dragons are my favorite archetype as well. So it's a no-brainer for me to do, a top 10 series on them. But anyways, let's start off with number 10. And we're going to start off with the Red Eyes Black Dragon by original OG boss, and pretty much the card that kickstart my love for dragons and the archetype itself. As I mentioned in my retro deck profile, and if you haven't watched it, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. If you had Red Eyes Black Dragon, you pretty much stood out in the playground because everyone was on the hype train of Blue Eyes and Dark Magician. I didn't want to be that. I wanted to be the different guy because I always like to be different and stand out myself in school back in the day. And I thought, let's get the Jerry Wheeler structure deck. And plus, I liked Red Eyes back in the anime over like Blue Eyes itself. I thought Red Eyes had a better artwork, and it would have been interesting to hear the lore behind Red Eyes, because Blue Eyes has a lore whereas Red Eyes didn't, and it would have been so cool to just hear the lore itself. And also as well, Red Eyes is like a really fun deck for me to use in these days, and like the support they've given for Red Eyes now is just again absolutely phenomenal, and like the artworks absolutely look amazing again on the Red Eyes support that they brought out recently itself. It's a shame, Red Eyes isn't as competitive as it is. I've tried my best to make it as competitive as I can, but if you haven't watched the my two deck profiles for Red Eyes, again, I'll leave a link to it down in the description below for you guys to check out. But other than that, again, Red Eyes, he was just, again, my OG boss, basically. He's the one who kickstarted it, and you had to put it in here. I had to put an OG card in here. It would be a crime if I didn't either put Blue Eyes or Red Eyes in this top 10. So, yeah, Red Eyes, absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. Next, we're going on to number 9. Now, I know this is not a dragon, but I technically count it as a dragon because it's got dragon in its name, and that is Topologic Bomber Dragon. This is pretty much the only, Link Vrains card that I really, really liked from the anime series, because I'm not a really big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains. I can literally just do a video explaining why I don't like the anime series and why it's probably the worst anime series that Yu-Gi-Oh! Have, released recently, excluding the new one that came out. But other than that, Topologic Bomb Dragon, for me, what stood out for this card is not just only the artwork, but mainly, like, Revolver using this card. Like, when Revolver summoned this card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, like, I have never seen so many people react so crazy over its effect. Because when... Okay, a bit of a spoiler as well. When, Revolver summoned that token to one of the link arrows this card pointed to, it was just so funny just seeing how it incinerated the field. And just seeing all the characters' reactions was just, again, absolutely funny, in my opinion. And that's why, I had to put it in here. Plus, he has a really brilliant effect as well. Like, if he destroys something, he burns your opponent for that destroyed monster's attack points. So, absolutely amazing. It's a shame he's not really a dragon, because, like, to me, he looks like a dragon. And again, he has a sexy artwork, and his effect is absolutely amazing. And also, the way this card was used in the anime, in my opinion, this stood out more than Borolo Dragon, in my opinion. So, yeah. Number 9. Okay, going on to number 8, and that is my Ignistia. Now, I would agree with you. It is a crime against humanity that this is in a gold rare and not at least an ultimate rare. Don't you fret. By the time I do, I don't know, my next Odd Eyes deck profile, I will make sure this card is in Ultimate Rare. I will give you my word, because it is a crime that this card is in Gold Rare. This card deserves to be in the max rarity, because it is one of the best monsters, in my opinion, in the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially during the time this card, came out and the format it played in. This card was a god savior. You have no idea how much of a god savior this card was back in the day. Especially against Cosmos, because Cosmos... I don't know why Konami even made that deck. It's good that that deck is, like, out of, like, nowhere. It's literally hidden in the cave, and no one has really tried to make that deck meta again. Because Dark Destroyer and all his, other, ships that can't be targeted was just absolutely stupid, in my opinion. And the fact the only way I could out it was with Ignistia, because I was playing Pendulums back in the day. was absolutely phenomenal. And again, you know, it's a dragon and also it's a warrior as well. And I kind of like warriors as well, along with dragons, because, you know, the laws between, you know, warriors and dragons as a whole, even like in Yu-Gi-Oh! And outside of Yu-Gi-Oh! So combining the two, you know, just really, you know, was just the icing on the cake, in my opinion. And yes, I promise you, I will get this in an ultimate rare. But the fact I've already got a gold rare, it's just like, yeah, again, it's a crime against nature and humanity itself. All right, going on to number, I think this is 6, 10, 9, 8, yeah. On to number 7, we have the trio, which is the Odd Eyes trio, as I like to call them. So that is Vortex, Absolute, and Meteor Burst. These guys, to me, when I look at these cards, they remind me of the Ojamas. And I'm a big fan of Ojamas. I really liked Ojamas, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. And Chaz was one of my favorite characters in the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh! And in the GX series. And I really loved his deck. You can kind of see the next card, well, later on in the profile, you could probably guess one of the other dragons that's going to be in my top 10 list. But these guys, again, they just remind me of the Ojamas, because like they just work together as like, you know, a band of brothers. And as Chaz said, you know, with the Ojamas, that they look out for each other, like even through thick and thin as a whole. And these guys look after each other through thick and thin. Like Meteor Burst allows you to go into Absolute, and then if Absolute dies, Vortex comes out to avenge Absolute and Meteor Burst's death by, like, you know, bouncing a card and negating. Gotta say again, that's what these cards remind me of. And plus, they pretty much kickstarted my, you know, love, again, for pendulums, because I really love Odd Eyes Pendulum as a whole, and even, like, you know, the Zark Pendulum deck as well. Like, these guys really, you know, started my love out for that deck as a whole. And plus, like, the artworks are absolutely amazing. Like, in my opinion, they're probably, like, the best, you know, Odd Eyes artworks, you know, out there. Again, absolutely amazing. And if I had to pick between the three, maybe it might have to be Vortex, because Vortex has got that stun, and I like stun cards. And also it's got that bounce, which I kind of like as well. So it's like cool, 2 good effects built into one as a whole. So yeah, number 7 has got to be, you know, my Odd Eyes trio for sure. All right, going on to number 6, kind of bouncing off actually of Odd Eyes as a whole, and like, you know, cards used by Yugioh, Sasaki. I can't say his name. You know who I mean. But yes, going on to number 6, we have the Dimension Dragons. These guys really got my appetite. I really like the story and the lore behind, you know, these 4 dragons and how, you know, they are the small incarnations to Zark, and when you have all 4 of them, they could literally pretty much summon Zark as a whole. And also as well, as you guys already know, R5 is my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, and again, these cards used by each of the protagonists and / antagonists as well, and like the stories behind them, and like, you know, how they got the cards, again, was just, you know, as a whole. And plus, the best bit is, yeah, you could still use these currently, you know, in today's meta. I know, like, with Starving Venom, with Super Polymerization, it's used quite a lot. Clearwing, I'm not really sure if it's used that much, but it's still a good level 7 to go into. Same with Dark Rebellion, a good, you know, rank 4 to go in. And Odd Eyes, as you already know, I love Odd Eyes as a whole, and I love the deck as well. So I pretty much have to play Odd Eyes as a whole. And plus, let's not deny the artworks are amazing. Even Odd Eyes, I'll admit, at the time, I really didn't like his artwork at the start, but it's kind of, you know, grown onto me that actually, you know what, Odd Eyes has a good artwork. It's not the worst artwork, you know, I've seen. But however, I really wish, like, they made Odd Eyes a bit more, you know, a bit more lean and mean like the other 3, basically. But I kind of understand with Yugioh as a whole, he's meant to be, you know, a child-friendly duelist, so they needed to give him a child-friendly card or dragon. So yeah, I don't blame them for that. So, but other than that, I really wish he was like a bit more, you know, aggressive sort of a dragon. So yeah, that's at number 6, my Dimension Dragons. Absolutely amazing cards, and yeah, I recommend you guys pick them up, because like, you can still use them in today's meta as a whole. Now, on to number 5. Now, this card has a lot of sentimental meaning to me, and that is my Staria. Now, this has a really good story behind it, because basically, I think it was the day of my birthday. I woke up and I realized that, you know, all my family didn't get me any presents or even a cake or even a birthday card. So I woke up on that day and knowing that my family forgot it was my birthday really made me feel sad at the time. So, you know, I had a few pennies in my pocket. I went to Treaty Center to kind of vent my anger. And I remember seeing like 1 pack of Judgment of the Light still on the shelf at my local shop that I used to buy my Yu-Gi-Oh cards from. So I was like, might as well just get it as a whole, because that was the only good booster pack they had on the shelf. And then I just literally jumped up and down in joy when I opened it and pulled this, because this card was so sought after back in the day. Like, even like during like, you know, Dragon Ruler format, especially during Ravine Rulers, like this card was essential to the deck. And like, you know, I really wanted this card. And the fact that I pulled it, not only is it first edition, but in Ultimate Rare. And Ultimate Rares are my favorite, rarity in the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself. And yeah, like the artwork, you gotta say it's absolutely gorgeous. And plus, its effect as well really worked my playstyle, because a lot of the time, I like to put like my boss monsters on the board, and then people just flip Mirror Force over me, and then pretty much incinerate my field. And for those of you, like, especially with you old OG players, like, you will understand how painful it is getting Mirror Force, especially back in the day, because Mirror Force was a powerful card back then. And yeah, Staria pretty much stopped Mirror Force dead in its track. And plus, it's 2000, so there's going to be a lot of damage being put on the board with this card. But other than that, yeah, number 5, Staria, again, has so much sentimental feeling. The fact that I got this on a day when, I really should be feeling sad because my parents and my sisters forgot that, it was my birthday. But then pulling this really did make my day, especially my birthday as a whole. All right, going on to number 4. I think this is Joy. Actually, let me just double check 1 minute. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it is number 4. Okay. Sorry about that. Sometimes I tend to lose count on the numbers when I'm doing top 10s. But anyways, for number 4, and that's got to be my Armed Dragons. Now, these were pretty much, after just Red Eyes Black Dragon, this was pretty much my boss monster throughout the whole of my childhood as a whole. Like, yeah, you gotta admit, artworks look amazing. And back then, they had really good effects, especially level 5 to level 10. The fact that these cards can literally just incinerate fields, basically, just by discarding one card was absolutely phenomenal. And it's, a shame that, level cards aren't, as good as they were back in the day. Like, even back then, okay, they weren't that good, but they were still at least semi-decent as a whole. And, like, again, Armed Dragon for me was just my favorite. A lot of people jumped on the Horus bandwagon, but I preferred Armed Dragons because Armed Dragons just, again, look at how sexy these look. And pretty much, these are, like, one of the best designed, dragons, ever made. Like, the detailing going into them is, like, absolutely phenomenal. And even just summoning them, like, just by looking at the art, well, your opponent looking at the artwork, kind of sent a bit of a chill down their spine, because they knew that they were going to be in for one rocky road when these came out on the field, basically. And yeah, again, just mainly the artwork, and also as well, Chaz is my favorite character in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and is probably my second favorite character in the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole. And, again, dragons, I love my dragons, and the fact that he was using these cards were absolutely amazing, and, like, he used them very, very well, in my opinion. Yes, I know he lost to Jaden in, like, a lot of his matches using these cards, but still, yeah, like, you could have asked for a better character to have these cards, and again, artworks are just absolutely amazing, and it would be it's still a shame that, they're not as prevalent, but hopefully, you never know, Konami might make some support for this deck in the near future. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. All right, going on to number 3, we have Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. Now, this card, whew, let's not deny, the people who have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 probably wet their pants in excitement when they saw this card being summoned. Like, this card had probably one of the best summoning introductions I've ever seen in the game. And also, like, what makes this card special is, again, it's an ultimate rare, and also it's a misprint, which is, an added bonus. Brilliant artwork, gotta admit, as a whole. Like, artwork is just absolutely phenomenal, not just on the card, but even when it was, like, introduced in the anime series. And also, it really helped for me, change my, perception on Arc 5, because before this card was summoned, like, I did not like Yugioh Sakaki. Like, I hated his character, absolutely hated it. Probably one of the worst protagonists in my, opinion. But then you guys would say, why'd you like Arc 5 then? But as I mentioned, I think in my D&D deck profile, I liked it because of the side characters. The side characters had, interesting storylines. There was a lot of character development within the characters, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much just kind of ruined it until he turned evil. And then I was just like, oh, okay, I was not expecting, that. Time to, strap ourselves in for, like, a very interesting storyline of why, Yugioh Sakaki has, like, a bit of an evil side to him. Like, and to prove it, he summoned this and Dark Rebellion and pretty much, became the incarnation of Zark as a whole. And yeah, that's what really, grabbed my appetite. And I had to get this card. And also as well, this card was really, it was a must necessary in, like, Pendulums as a whole, especially going up against Cosmos back in the day. Like, you needed this to basically beat over the Dark Destroyer as a whole. So that's why, for me, holds a special place in my heart. And it's a bit of a shame that, interesting enough, I have never summoned this card, through its, 2 level 7 requirements. I always summon this off Absolute as an option to get over the Dark Destroyer back in the day, so yeah. Number 3, Odd Eyes Rebellion. Now, going on to my number 2. Now, this might come as a bit of a shock to you, considering I mentioned, in a, I think it was my Red Dragon Archfiend, that Red Dragon Archfiends are my favorite deck in the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the fact that I am putting Starlight and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss at number 2 probably might be a bit of a shock to you guys. Because yes, the deck is my favorite deck. However, they're not my favorite dragons, in my opinion. I will get to that later on what my favorite dragons are, but as a whole, again, what really attached me to the Red Dragon Archfiend archetype is, again, it's red and it's dragon, so it put 2 and 2 together. So it's 2 things that I like, as a whole together. Now, the reason why I put these 2 also together is I couldn't pick between the one, because I love Abyss because of its negation effect. And then, again, with Starlight, especially, again, from the anime itself, the way, Jack Atlas just summoned this and pretty much destroyed Yuya. It's like he kind of knocked him down into reality, saying that, Yuya, you're not the best duelist in the world. You ain't the best entertainer in the world. He summoned this, obliterated his field, and pretty much just, puts Yuya in his place, which I found so funny, especially when he, kind of flexed on Yuya and said, kneel before the king, and everything. Absolutely amazing. And also, you gotta admit, artworks are absolutely amazing, along with, my Armed Dragons. These guys literally are, probably the closest thing you will see to a dragon in, proper reality as a whole. And also, again, their effects are amazing. And yeah, as I mentioned again, dragons, red, put 2 and 2 together. Absolutely love the deck as a whole. Now, on to my number 1. Now, you're probably wondering what my number 1 is. And yes, it is my boy Zark and his 3-dimension dragons. The moment I saw these cards in the climax of Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5, I was just like, these are my dragons. These guys are literally some of the powerfulest dragons in the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh! And in my opinion, it is an utter shame that these guys are not in high rarity, because these guys deserve to be in high rarity, especially if you guys watched the anime. The way Zark used those 3 dragon servants was just absolutely amazing. The effects are absolutely brilliant. Starving Venom's banned for a reason. Clear Wing destroys everything on the field, and if your opponent even tries to attack him, he's going to destroy that monster and then burn your opponent for that monster's attack points. And then Dark Rebellion pretty much can OTK you. It takes the monster's attack points and puts the other monster's attack points down to 0. It's mind-boggling. These cards are overpowered and they're not really even used in today's meta. And let's not get me started on Zark. Now, I have a bit of a gripe against people who play Pendulums. People who played Zark in, Pendulums, well, especially back in the day when we had Wisdom, it was not Wisdom Eye, it was Joker and Iris at 3 and Astrograph at 3, so it's basically the deck at full power. It is an absolute crime that no one even bothered to put one Zark in the extra deck. Okay, I mean, you don't max out on Zark in Pendulums. You just play that one copy. And yes, before people say in the comment section, but that means we have to play, that Pendulum that counts itself as a synchro. Let me just remind you, you play Ignistia, which is a dragon. You play Clear Wing, who is a dragon. You even played Stardust, who was a dragon. You had the options in the extra deck to count as your synchro material for the summon of Zark. I mean, would you rather, slap 2, what was it at the time? I think it was 2 Astrographs on the field. Why not just summon Zark, obliterate the field, and then summon even more monsters onto the field, so it's a guaranteed OTK? Because people did not play Gauze back then. And again, it's an atrocity, because Zark has an amazing effect. Why not use that? Again, okay, fair enough, you might not be able to summon it, consistently, but still, it's an option to have in the extra deck. It wasn't like the extra deck was tight on space back then. You could still throw in one copy of Zark, and it would work as a whole. But other than that, again, just mainly the anime itself, and I feel like Zark is the king of all dragons, in my opinion. So yeah, that's why, again, I love these guys. Are just so absolutely amazing. Artwork's amazing, anime absolutely amazing. So yeah, as a whole, definitely got to be in my top 10. But yeah, other than that, thank you guys for watching. That was my top 10, favorite dragons in the whole of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself. Let me guys know down in the comment section what your favorite dragons are, if you have any, or tell me what was your favorite dragon from my top 10 list as a whole, because I like to hear people's suggestions. And again, I really love dragons. I really want to hear your guys' opinion on like your favorite dragons and why you really love them, because it's great hearing about, you know, other people's stories, especially, you know, like I said, with Armed Dragon, it has a great story. Staria has like probably one of the best stories in my opinion. So yeah, as a whole, again, you guys, thank you guys for watching. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video as well, because it helps to, you know, grow my channel as a whole, and I really want to get to 100 subscribers in the near future. And again, guys, make sure to have a great day, and don't forget to stay safe, especially during these dark times, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. Boom.